Okay, so this is some footage from practice last Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. So all this footage is going to be from me in the back, and we're just working on looking at some top arms, some outside, where we're placing the blade, and then body's movement. So one thing in general for most of these pieces, in the second to last row, we have Tiffany and Gigi, and Tiffany and Gigi, you guys were generally the first paddles to come out of the water, so it looks like Dena and Lisa are late here, but actually they were in time with most of the rest of the boat up front. So we want to make sure we keep that pressure a little bit longer, and also Gigi want to make sure we bring the paddle a little bit closer to the water. It's already pretty high up off the water. Lisa, just one thing I noticed from here, your hand is kind of moving a little bit past your hip here. So even though you've got that really long stroke, we don't really have as much pressure when they're on the blade when your hand's quite past you. So you always want to just, it's everything from your hips and forward. And again, you're going to have a little bit more feedback from the people in the back as we can see you a little bit better. So Lisa, I've mentioned to you the top hand that comes across sometimes. That's kind of that big top arm across. Someone that you can kind of looks a little bit more normal is Dawn up here in black PFD and the black hat there. So if we look at Dawn, I mean, it's still kind of around here, but your elbow tends to get a little bit like more across the center here. And then as we look at the recovery, so Dena, the little bit more, you have a little bit bend here, and Tiffany a little bit more bend. Tiffany especially, so you want to try and keep your hands out a little bit further in front of your body. So kind of like what Dawn is doing. Mary, Bradley, your top arm tends to be very, very straight. So I would say it's almost the opposite of Lisa, where hers comes in really far and yours stays really far off the side of the boat. And because of that, your top arm comes really high. So you could probably bring in yours a little bit more just to make it a little bit more relaxed on your shoulder. And then, again, timing here is a little weird. Someone's already way up there. I wanted to point out Stephanie, if we can see you, your top hand here. Oh, it's not too bad right now, but once in a while you have that also, that late top hand that comes out. It's very quick, so your recovery is really quick, but it has that like wide sweep that comes around this way. Notice how your arm kind of comes out like after everybody, but you enter with everybody. So again, we're just working on fine-tuning the blending here.
And then also Stephanie trying to make a smaller circle with the top hand, a little bit tighter recovery.
Smaller top hand circle. One more thing, I guess, Lisa, is sometimes, so you get across your body with this like slight elbow, slight bend, which is fine. But we want to get that top hand a little bit lower. But you do like an extension as you reach forward, and we want to just kind of keep that strong. We don't want to have that final like extension with the top hand at the very end of your stroke, or at the very beginning of the stroke. That will make your blade kind of start out a little bit more negative. So Dena, you can get a little bit quicker to the front. That doesn't make much here. This video will have a pretty good view from the side. So again, we can still see Tiffany and Gigi. You guys are out pretty early. Let's see. All right, here we go. So let's see what this looks like. So, oops, look at that. So Lisa, looks good. You're pretty close to the boat. Gigi, you're kind of sweeping out from the side and then coming towards the boat. That's probably why you're hitting your hand sometimes. And then everyone else up here looks pretty good in terms of you're really like close to the boat. So again, this is planting in. And then so Gigi, you want to get that a little bit closer to the boat. You might need to get your top hand over across a little bit more too.
Look pretty, you're on camera.
All right, in terms of exits here, so again, Gigi, you're furthest one out, or fastest one out. Dawn's looking good. Lisa's looking good. Stephanie a little bit early, but it's pretty close. I wouldn't worry about that too much. And then Dawn, so this is the paddle twist that we're talking about. You can see that Lisa's is a little bit more square, yours just has a little bit of twist, so we want to make sure when we reach forward, we've got that whole perpendicular blade. And then, I don't know who has the OC blade, this one. I think it's Mary Rivera. The recovery is coming up a little bit high, so we want to keep that a little bit lower. Here's the left side. So mostly pretty close to the boat. Dena, you can get a little bit closer to the boat here. And everyone's got a little bit of that paddle twist. Dena, you also have quite a bit of that twist. You can see the angle. It's kind of going that way. And then just the exits. So Tiffany, again, first one out of the water. So you want to hold that pressure a little bit longer. You're entering with everybody, but you're just coming out a little bit early, and we want to hold that pressure a little bit longer. In terms of stacking top hands, most of that looks pretty good. Dena, you can get a little bit more over. And then even from back here, we can see Barbara. You got that little bit of swagger in and out. So from this angle, actually, this is a good one to see Lisa. So that I was telling you about. So this is a pretty like healthy angle of bend, but as you go down, it like locks and straightens out like that. So you want to kind of set with this angle, but everything a little bit lower, and instead of like kind of locking out at your elbow, you want to just keep it as straight as you can while still having it like without getting that extra like push at the front of the stroke. Yeah, so then looking at timing here again, it's mostly okay. And then again, Stephanie, we're looking at that top hand that coming a little bit late across. So here, Lisa, this last few strokes here, I'm gonna back up real quick. You're doing a better job keeping like the top hand from going across so far. So like right here, this is good. This is nice and tight. Elbow isn't coming out all the way over here on this side as it was like previously in the other video. So that looks good. You can tell you're working on it. So in general, I feel like on this side, a lot of us, so I'm looking at kind of when the bodies are moving and when the boat is moving. This is kind of when the boat starts to like grab. So it goes like grab here and then grab here. And then when I'm pausing here, some of these blades are still not quite fully in. So our timing is there, but we need to make sure we get it like all the way in there before we start pulling. Don't pull too early. So here, a little bit of timing here. GG looked like a little bit late. And then again, Tiffany, you're doing really good. You want to keep that top hand a little bit straighter and out in front of you. Alright, so there we go. I see Kris Clark out there, a little bit early, occasionally. And, oh, let's go back here first. So Stephanie, I wanted to just show that top hand thing that I talked to you about at practice. So you kind of stack your arm here, and then like as you finish, your top arm kind of keeps going out this way a little bit. It like kind of finishes out that way. So that was the you can see it in those last couple strokes there on that side. Move it back. Yeah, like your top hand's like way out the boat, which is a little bit more than you need to. And I think at that point you're kind of rotating the blade around you. We want to make sure that we're locking in like here, and then moving your hips forward instead of kind of bringing it around you like that. Okay, that's most of it. It's about 10 minutes. I'm gonna stop it right there.